The evening was lively at the grand gala hosted by the luxurious Hartwell Corporation, held in a sparkling Manhattan ballroom. The chandeliers gleamed overhead, casting prisms of light across the elegantly dressed attendees. Sophie Palmer, a bright and slightly clumsy young woman working as an event coordinator assistant, carefully navigated through the crowd with a tray of hors d'oeuvres. Her mind was focused on keeping everything perfect. She had spent weeks preparing for tonight, coordinating schedules, decorations, and catering. All she wanted was to ensure the evening went smoothly. But fate, as it often did, had other plans. As she stepped backward to adjust a floral arrangement, Sophie's heel caught on the edge of a decorative rug. In a panic, she stumbled, and accidentally landed squarely on the foot of a distinguished-looking gentleman. The man yelped, clearly startled, and the tray of hors d'oeuvres wobbled dangerously in her hands. "Oh my gosh! I am so sorry," Sophie exclaimed, flustered beyond belief. The man's eyes narrowed, his face showing irritation. "Watch where you're going, young lady," he snapped, his voice cutting through the ballroom chatter. Sophie's heart raced. I didn't mean to. It was an accident." Before the situation could escalate further, a tall, impeccably dressed man stepped in. Ethan Hartwell, the CEO of Hartwell Corporation, observed the scene with sharp blue eyes, his usual cold, authoritative demeanor commanding immediate attention. He approached Sophie and the irate customer. "Is there a problem here?" Ethan asked, his tone calm but firm. Sophie's voice quivered. I accidentally stepped on his foot. I'm really sorry." Ethan's gaze softened slightly, not at her clumsiness, but at the genuine panic in her eyes. He studied her closely, the earnestness, the unintentional chaos, the sheer authenticity. "Accidents happen," he said evenly. "Are you hurt?" he asked the man, who shook his head, muttering under his breath. I'm fine," the man stammered, though his pride was clearly bruised. Ethan turned to Sophie. "And you? Are you okay?" Sophie nodded quickly, cheeks flushed. "Yes, I'm fine. I didn't mean to cause trouble." Ethan's eyes flickered with something unexpected, a faint smile, almost imperceptible. "I see you handled it with honesty and courage. Not everyone would admit a mistake so openly in front of a crowd." Sophie blinked, surprised. Really? You think that's good?" "Yes," Ethan said, his voice steady, carrying a rare warmth. "It's more than good, it's admirable. Courage, honesty, and composure under pressure are qualities I respect." The man Sophie had stepped on muttered something about the awkward incident but quickly moved away, leaving the ballroom's attention back on the event. Sophie exhaled, relief flooding her. "Thank you. I wasn't expecting that reaction," she said, still flustered. Ethan's gaze lingered on her, sharp but intrigued. "Consider it a lesson in perception," he said lightly. "Sometimes, the way you handle a mistake tells more about you than any perfection ever could." Sophie's cheeks burned. I'll remember that." For Ethan, however, it wasn't just about a lesson. There was something magnetic about this young woman who had literally stepped into chaos without losing her sincerity. In a world of calculated appearances, her authenticity was refreshing. As the evening continued, Ethan found his eyes drawn back to Sophie again and again. Her clumsy charm, courage under pressure, and unguarded nature were unlike anything he had encountered in his usual circle of polished executives and curated socialites. And somewhere in the midst of chandeliers and champagne flutes, a spark ignited, one that promised that an accidental step tonight could lead to a journey neither Sophie nor Ethan would ever forget. The next morning, Sophie arrived at Hartwell Corporation feeling a mixture of excitement and anxiety. She had expected her awkward accident at the gala to be nothing more than a mortifying memory, but instead, she had received an email from none other than Ethan Hartwell himself. "Miss Palmer, please report to my office at 9 a.m. sharp. E.H." Sophie's heart raced as she approached the sleek, glass-paneled office on the 42nd floor. The city stretched out below, bustling and bright, but her focus was entirely on what awaited her inside. When she stepped in, Ethan was already seated behind his polished desk, reviewing documents. His posture was impeccable, his expression calm and commanding as always. Yet, when he looked up and saw Sophie, a faint, almost imperceptible smile softened his features. "Good morning, Miss Palmer," he said, his voice smooth and steady. "Please, have a seat." Sophie complied, sitting nervously across from him. "Good morning, Mr. Hartwell. Ethan," she said, her cheeks warming. Ethan's piercing blue eyes held her gaze. "Please, call me Ethan. Titles aren't necessary here." Sophie nodded, trying to calm her racing thoughts. "Of course." Ethan leaned back slightly, folding his hands. "About last night, accidents happen, as I mentioned. But I noticed how you handled yourself. Calm under pressure, sincere and accountable. Those are qualities I rarely see and rarely reward." Sophie blinked, unsure how to respond. "Thank you. I didn't want to cause trouble." "Precisely why I'd like to offer you an opportunity," Ethan said, his tone deliberate. "I am leading a high-profile corporate project, and I need someone with intelligence, courage, and honesty. Qualities you've already demonstrated. I want you to assist me directly." Sophie's eyes widened. "Me? Assist the CEO? I'm not sure I'm qualified." Ethan interrupted, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "You don't have to be perfect. You have something far more valuable, an unfiltered perspective. Most people in this building are polished, careful, and guarded. You are real. That's exactly what this project needs." Sophie's nerves mingled with excitement. I don't know what to say." "Thank you, Ethan. I'll do my best." "I expect nothing less," he said, his eyes glinting with interest. "Consider this more than just an assignment. It's an introduction to a side of this company most never see, and to working closely with me." Sophie nodded, feeling a flutter of anticipation. As she left his office, she realized that the accidental step at the gala had unexpectedly opened a door to a world she had never imagined, a world of responsibility, challenge, and possibility. Over the next few days, Sophie began working alongside Ethan. Meetings, brainstorming sessions, and client reviews became opportunities not only to learn but also to witness a side of Ethan rarely seen by others. A man disciplined, meticulous, yet quietly intrigued by her unique approach and perspective. During one intense afternoon, Sophie suggested a creative solution for a marketing challenge. Ethan leaned forward, studying her intently. "Interesting. Most would stick to the standard approach. But I see potential in your idea. Let's explore it." Sophie's heart leapt. Not only had he taken her suggestion seriously, but he had encouraged her to think boldly. She realized that the spark that had ignited at the gala was beginning to grow, an undeniable chemistry, subtle yet electric, between her and the cold CEO. By the end of the week, Sophie felt a mix of pride and nervous anticipation. She had stepped into a world far larger than she ever expected, working closely with a man whose icy exterior hid layers of curiosity, intelligence, and unexpected warmth. And for Ethan, every interaction with Sophie was a reminder that chaos and sincerity could be far more captivating than perfection. Sophie's first week working directly with Ethan was a whirlwind of excitement, nerves, and unexpected discoveries. Every morning, she arrived early, reviewing documents, preparing presentations, and bracing herself for the fast-paced intensity of his office. Ethan, as always, maintained a calm and commanding presence, but Sophie noticed subtle shifts in his behavior. Moments of genuine interest, faint smiles, and lingering glances that hinted at more than professional approval. During a high-stakes strategy meeting, Sophie nervously presented a proposal she had worked on tirelessly. The room, filled with experienced executives, fell silent as Ethan observed her every word. "This is innovative," Ethan remarked when she finished, his piercing blue eyes locking onto hers. "Your approach addresses potential risks most would overlook. Well done, Sophie." Sophie's cheeks flushed, both from pride and the intensity of his gaze. Thank you, Ethan. I just tried to think creatively." He leaned slightly closer, lowering his voice. "And that's exactly what sets you apart. I value honesty, courage, and originality. All qualities you've consistently shown." The praise made Sophie's heart flutter, but the attention didn't go unnoticed. Gossip quickly spread through the office. Whispers of favoritism and rumors about her relationship with the CEO followed her down the hallways. Later that day, Sophie approached her desk, feeling the weight of the office's scrutiny. Ethan noticed her unease immediately and called her into his office. "Sophie, I see the rumors are bothering you," he said, his tone calm but firm. "Ignore them. They're meaningless compared to your capabilities and character." "I know, but it's hard," Sophie admitted, biting her lip. "I don't want anyone to think I'm here because of anything other than my work." Ethan's expression softened. He stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You are here because of your work, your courage, and your honesty. Never doubt that. And if anyone challenges that, I will handle it." Sophie felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mix of admiration and the undeniable spark growing between them. His protection, his recognition, and his subtle affection made her heart race in ways she hadn't anticipated. That evening, as the city lights glittered outside the office windows, Ethan and Sophie stayed behind to finalize a crucial presentation. Working side by side, their hands occasionally brushed, and small smiles were exchanged over shared jokes and ideas. At one point, Sophie dropped a stack of papers. Ethan bent down to help her pick them up, and for a brief moment, their faces were inches apart. The air between them seemed to hum with electricity. "You're remarkable," Ethan whispered, a rare vulnerability in his voice. "I'm not easily impressed, Sophie, but you've captured my attention in a way I didn't expect." Sophie's cheeks flushed crimson. I feel the same. I didn't expect any of this." The spark was undeniable, yet so was the challenge ahead. Between office politics, gossip, and the pressures of working closely with a powerful CEO, Sophie realized that their growing connection would not be without obstacles. As she left the office that night, Sophie glanced back at Ethan's office, the lights still glowing warmly. She felt a mix of anticipation and determination. The accidental step that had started it all now seemed like fate, guiding her toward a bond that was both thrilling and complicated. And for Ethan, the spark ignited that night was impossible to ignore, an attraction that went beyond admiration or professional respect, pulling him toward a young woman whose clumsiness and courage had captured his heart. The following week at Hartwell Corporation was a whirlwind. Sophie found herself increasingly involved in high-profile meetings and strategic discussions. Her confidence grew, yet so did the attention she attracted, not all of it welcome. Whispers among the staff hinted at favoritism, and a few executives were openly skeptical of her place in the company. One afternoon, as Sophie prepared a presentation in Ethan's office, Margaret Langley, the senior vice president, entered unannounced. Her sharp gaze immediately landed on Sophie. "Miss Palmer," Margaret began, her tone polite but cold, "I hope you realize that working closely with the CEO carries responsibilities beyond mere competence. There are optics to consider." Sophie's stomach tightened. I understand. I'm just focused on the work." Margaret's lips pressed into a thin line. "Indeed. Let's hope your focus matches the expectations of Hartwell Corporation." She left with an air of judgment, leaving Sophie feeling unsettled. Ethan, noticing her discomfort, stepped forward. "Ignore her," he said, his voice low but firm. "She doesn't see what I see. Your dedication, intelligence, and courage are clear. That's why you're here." Sophie exhaled, grateful yet still tense. "Thank you. I just don't want anyone thinking I'm here for the wrong reasons." "You're here because of your work and your character," Ethan said, a faint smile touching his lips. "And if anyone doubts that, it won't change the truth." Later that evening, as they worked alone in the office, the tension of the day melted into a quiet intimacy. They reviewed reports side by side, occasionally brushing hands, exchanging small smiles, and laughing over minor mistakes. The office's chaos faded, leaving only the quiet electricity between them. Ethan leaned back in his chair, studying Sophie. "You've handled yourself remarkably well this week," he said. "Not just with the work, but with everything else. Gossip, skepticism, pressure. You remain composed." Sophie's cheeks warmed. I try. But it's not easy." "You're stronger than you realize," Ethan said softly, his voice almost a whisper. "And I have to admit, you've captured my attention in ways I didn't expect." Sophie's breath caught. "You mean that?" "Yes," he said, his eyes steady on hers. "I respect you, Sophie, more than I can express. And I want you to know, this isn't just professional. I feel a connection. Her heart raced, a mix of relief and excitement. I feel it too, she admitted softly, her voice trembling slightly. I didn't expect any of this, but I can't deny it. For a moment, the office felt suspended in time. The unspoken acknowledgement of their feelings hung between them, fragile yet undeniable. Outside, the city lights glittered, mirroring the flutter in their hearts. But just as the moment seemed perfect, a notification on Ethan's laptop reminded them of the world outside. Emails, deadlines, and responsibilities that would soon intrude on their brief intimacy. Ethan leaned closer, brushing a strand of hair from Sophie's face. Whatever comes, Sophie, we'll face it together. We'll navigate the challenges, the gossip, and everything else. You and I. Sophie nodded, a smile breaking across her face. Together, she agreed. As she left the office that night, Sophie realized that chemistry and connection were only the beginning. To survive and thrive, in a world of power, expectations, and scrutiny, they would need courage, trust, and the willingness to fight for what truly mattered. And for Ethan, the spark between them was more than fleeting attraction. It was a promise, a bond that was quietly, irresistibly, impossible to ignore. The following morning, Sophie arrived at Hartwell Corporation with a mix of determination and apprehension. After the previous week's tension and the intimate confession with Ethan, she felt closer to him than ever, but the office environment was unforgiving, and whispers still lingered. Their next big challenge came in the form of an important client visit. The CEO of a major partner company was coming to discuss a potential million-dollar deal, and Ethan had assigned Sophie to assist with the presentation. It was both an opportunity and a trial by fire. During the meeting, everything initially went smoothly. Sophie's preparation impressed the clients, and Ethan's calm, authoritative presence reinforced her confidence. But halfway through, a miscommunication caused Sophie to reference a figure incorrectly. The client frowned, and Ethan's sharp gaze flicked to her, tension flickering in his eyes. I apologize, Sophie said quickly, correcting the mistake. The correct figure is... Ethan stepped in smoothly. Actually, you are correct, Miss Palmer. The previous number was preliminary. Sophie's update reflects the latest, verified data. The client nodded, reassured, but Sophie felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. Ethan's intervention had saved the moment, yet it reminded her of the fine line she walked in this high-pressure environment. After the meeting, Ethan led Sophie to his office. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice low, almost private. Sophie exhaled. "Yes, but I feel like I'm constantly on edge. One mistake and everything could unravel." Ethan stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her arm. "Sophie, you're doing remarkably well. I've seen people with years of experience falter under this kind of pressure. You've handled it with grace and courage." Sophie's cheeks warmed at his praise. "Thank you, Ethan. I just don't want to disappoint you." "You could never disappoint me," he said, his gaze intense. "I've already seen the qualities that matter: honesty, integrity, and determination. Those are what count, not a minor slip." That evening, as they left the office together, the city lights reflected off wet streets after a brief rain. The soft glow made the world seem intimate, removed from the pressures of work. Ethan glanced at Sophie. "You've handled today brilliantly," he said, a rare smile gracing his lips. "I hope you know how impressive you truly are." Sophie smiled back, feeling a warmth spreading through her chest. "I'm learning, and it's easier with you guiding me." Their hands brushed accidentally, lingering slightly longer than necessary. Sophie's heart raced, and she realized the bond between them was growing stronger with each shared challenge, each supportive word, and each moment of vulnerability. As they parted that night, Sophie felt a renewed determination. No matter the challenges, gossip, or high-pressure situations, she and Ethan had something worth protecting and exploring. The spark that began with a simple accidental step had grown into a flame neither could ignore, one that promised love, trust, and unexpected joy. The week after the client meeting brought unexpected challenges. Rumors about Sophie's relationship with Ethan had intensified, and whispers of favoritism circulated more openly throughout the office. Sophie tried to focus on her work, but the tension was palpable. Every glance, every murmured comment seemed amplified, and she couldn't ignore the sting of doubt creeping into her mind. One afternoon, As she organized files in Ethan's office, he noticed her distracted demeanor. "Sophie, is everything all right?" he asked, closing the door gently behind him. Sophie hesitated. I just feel like people are watching my every move. I want to do well, but sometimes it feels like no matter what I do, it's never enough." Ethan's expression softened. He walked over and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You are more than enough. Don't let office gossip define your worth. I trust you, Sophie, and that's what matters." Her eyes met his, and for the first time, the professional barrier between them seemed to dissolve. "Ethan, I feel something for you, more than respect or gratitude, and I think you feel it too." Ethan's gaze lingered on hers, his usual controlled demeanor faltering just slightly. "You're right," he admitted, his voice low and earnest. "I didn't expect this, and yet, I can't deny it. You've changed the way I see things, Sophie. You've captured me." Her heart raced. "Captured you?" "Yes," he said, stepping closer. "In ways I didn't anticipate. Your courage, your sincerity, even your clumsiness, it all draws me in. I want to see where this goes, if you'll let me." Sophie smiled, tears threatening to spill. "I want that too, Ethan. More than anything." At that moment, the office felt like a world apart from the chaos of whispers, deadlines, and expectations. It was just them, two people acknowledging their feelings, vulnerable and honest. But life outside Ethan's office wasn't so kind. Later that evening, as they left the building, a group of staff members exchanged pointed looks and comments about their closeness. Sophie felt her confidence waver. Ethan noticed immediately. He took her hand gently in his. "Ignore them," he said firmly. "Our connection isn't for others to define. What matters is us, Sophie. And I won't let anyone make you doubt yourself, or us." Sophie squeezed his hand, comforted by his unwavering support. I trust you, Ethan. I've never felt this way before, but I know. I want to see this through." Ethan smiled, a rare, open warmth in his expression. "Then we face it together. No more doubts, no more hiding. Whatever comes, we tackle it side by side." As they walked through the bustling streets of Manhattan, the city lights shimmering around them, Sophie realized that every stumble, every awkward moment, and every challenge had led her here, to a bond of trust, courage, and undeniable affection. And for Ethan, the woman who had accidentally stepped on a client had become someone he couldn't imagine his life without. Through missteps and misunderstandings, he had discovered not only admiration but love, and the determination to protect it at all costs. The spark that began in chaos had now ignited into something far deeper, promising a future where honesty, courage, and unexpected affection would guide their path forward. The morning sun bathed Manhattan in a golden glow as Sophie arrived at Hartwell Corporation. The office, usually bustling with tension and whispers, seemed almost peaceful. Today, there was a sense of anticipation in the air. Ethan had called for a private meeting, and Sophie could feel that something important was about to happen. She knocked lightly on the door of his office, and Ethan's familiar deep voice called her in. "Sophie, come in," he said, standing behind his desk with a confident yet warm expression. Sophie stepped inside, trying to mask her nervousness. "Good morning, Ethan." "Good morning," he replied, gesturing for her to sit. "I wanted to take a moment to recognize how far you've come. From that fateful night at the gala, stepping on a customer, to now, your growth, courage, and integrity have been extraordinary." Sophie smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "Thank you. I've learned so much. Because of you." Ethan walked around the desk and took her hands in his usual stoic demeanor softened. "Sophie, I've admired you from the moment I saw your honesty and courage. But now, I want more than admiration. I want us, fully, openly, without hesitation." Sophie's eyes widened, her heart racing. "You mean that?" "Yes," he said, his gaze unwavering. "I've been patient, watching your strength, your kindness, your courage in every situation. I don't want to hide our feelings anymore. Sophie, will you be with me?" Tears of happiness welled up in Sophie's eyes. "Yes, Ethan. I want that too. More than anything." Ethan's lips curved into a rare, full smile, and he gently pulled her into a tender embrace. The office around them faded, the whispers, the gossip, the pressure, all irrelevant. It was just them, and the undeniable connection that had grown from an awkward accident into something profound. The following weeks solidified their relationship. Sophie continued to work alongside Ethan, their chemistry apparent but balanced with mutual respect and professionalism. Office rumors gradually faded as colleagues witnessed their genuine affection and teamwork. One evening, as they walked through a quiet park, Ethan took Sophie's hand, gazing into her eyes. "I never imagined that a simple step, literally stepping on someone, would lead me to you. But I'm grateful it did. You've shown me that authenticity, courage, and heart are more powerful than perfection ever could be." Sophie laughed softly, leaning against him. "And I never imagined that a cold, intimidating CEO could be so warm. You've changed my world, Ethan." He kissed her forehead gently. "And you've changed mine, Sophie. Forever." As they strolled beneath the glowing city lights, hand in hand, Sophie realized that life's most unexpected moments, stumbles, mistakes, and surprises, sometimes led to the most beautiful outcomes. And for Ethan and Sophie, love had triumphed over awkwardness, chaos, and skepticism, promising a future filled with trust, laughter, and unwavering devotion. From the accidental step that sparked it all to the heartfelt confessions that solidified their bond, Sophie and Ethan had discovered that love, courage, and sincerity could turn even the most clumsy moments into a lifetime of happiness. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Until we meet again in the next story, take care and keep the magic of imagination alive.